Hi, thanks for joining me. I have chosen 10 decks because I want to explore the more masculine energy. Some of the cards have been coming up for me lately of that nature. So I went through my decks and I started to pull cards that sort of resonated for me with a masculine energy. So I'm all set here with my 10 decks that, just we'll flip through. We'll enjoy ourselves and check out 10 wonderful decks. So let's begin. All right, deck number 1 for me is the Ethereal Shadow Tarot. Really like how it's presented, and I believe that some people consider it an AI deck. I'm not sure. The guy, Vixen is his name. Includes a nice little booklet, good hard box, and very different images. So these were the backs. Quite dreamy. And these are gold gilded. It's a hefty deck, really quite strong. And this is the Emperor. Very regal, sits above. Nice. The Four of Pentacles. You can escape into this little almost fairy world. I think this is a fabulous Four of Swords. And there's a Four of Wands. And such different images. The Death card is spectacular. That shroud that is worn. Right down even to the necklace. I just really appreciate the creativity that went into this deck, as well as taking me on all these different visual journeys. It is really glorious. So that, they're kind of longer. They fit in the hand nicely. And they allow you to sort of step into the cards. They're a little bit quiet in nature, looking for us to dip in and explore. The Erethereal Tarot. Another strong deck. This is based on the Game of Thrones. It's the House of Dragon Tarot deck, and it's put out by Insight Editions. So these are the backs. Dragons. Hope you can see it in the colors there. And again, another super thick deck. So this would be the earth. Swords for the air, but I love the backgrounds and the textures in this, even on the borders. Our Four of Dragons. Tankards and the Death card. So lots of texture in these cards. Some good reds and golds. Sort of has that animated look to it. A little bit pippish, yes. But if you followed along with any of the shows, you get an idea for the characters. And then, it just starts to work and sing. The cups have great dragons drawn on them. The lady's clothing is kind of nifty. And that is the House of Dragon. Strong and masculine. Now, I haven't played much with this. I got this thrifted, the Wild Unknown Tarot. And it's put out by Harper One. Good box, good booklet. And maybe now that I sense its masculine energy, I might, dive in again. A lot of texture like the Game of Thrones through line work in here. And it does have a sense of darkness to it. I appreciate that Wheel of Fortune. I think that's quite nice. Lots of animals. And I do like the darkness to it. So I don't know why I haven't gravitated to playing with it, but maybe now it's time. So the Tarot of the Unknown. The Wild Unknown Tarot. This is a spectacular box. This is the Starman Tarot, and it's a La Scarabeo deck with this, lightning flash in here. Quite spectacular. And then we have these jazzy backs. I'm not so keen on these backs, but I do appreciate all the work that went into the imagery. The Four of Pentacles. There's a certain, there is an energy to this deck, and it is uplifting. You can almost sense the thoughts, the aspirations, all forming and coming together here. The concentration in that is great. The colors, if you like color, there's your Death card there. And a key in the middle. So there's a lot to explore. Lots of imagery, lots of symbolisms. And it does look like it would be quite a colorful layout. In a spread, some of them stand out a bit better for catching your attention. It does, though, have that busyness. It might cause a little bit of overload for some people, but that is the Starman Tarot. Pretty jazzy. So the next one is the Tarot Illuminati. You just can't help but, enjoy these cards and all the detail. Now, I did cut mine down, so it fits in the hand a little bit better. Another gold edging, and that's the Emperor. Sort of relaxed. Gorgeous. Absolutely. Like you can just feel like you've stepped into a cathedral. I think that's what I like. It's like being part of a play and you've walked into various sets. The gold that runs through, the rich draperies. Playfulness. There's a strong male character there. our Three of Wands. You can really feel the energy there of the Eight of Cups and moving through a difficult situation. Beautiful Hermit. So it really is quite spectacular. It has some of the colors of the Starman Tarot, but it's not for me as busy. Love that. So in a layout, I think it should look quite nice. And lots of good, strong male energy in here. And the Alchemist is particularly nice. Does have a bit of a gloss and a sheen to it. You can see that picking up. But I don't notice it so much when I lay the cards down. So that is the Tarot Illuminati. Now this one's a little bit different again. But the metal element lends that sort of strong masculine energy to it, and it carries over into the women as well. So this is John and Caitlin Matthews bringing this one to us through Tuttle. And the back's not doing much for me, although I do like the other sides, and this is another cut down version of mine. And you have to have... There's different wordings in here for some of them. So the Emperor is there, or not wording so much as, okay, so there's your Four of Leviathans, airships, engines, and submersibles. So you just have to get used to that first. But that is card number 13, Spring-Heeled Jack. Pretty good. Strong pictures, softer coloring, so it's not so busy, although there's a lot of mechanical stuff going on. Love the Apprentice, looking forward to all these things that he can maneuver, manipulate, travel. So a really good deck in that it's more modern. Some people like steampunk, some people don't, I guess. But all the engines and the machinery definitely bring that male energy forward for me anyway. Oh, there's a dynamic one. So that is my Steampunk Tarot. Now this is an older version, Chiro Machete, and the cards and the card stock, let's just say the card stock is not fabulous. Good book involved with it. There are the backs and some good strong imagery, a little bit of glare there you can see. Pentacles are these sort of forms. Now comparing this Four of Swords to the other one in the Illuminati, it just doesn't sing as much, no, but it's got its different feel, more King Arthur time almost to me, fairy tale. That's our Magician, High Priestess, and it does have lots of color again, so if you like color, I enjoy color. Strong images, a little bit of mechanical stuff going on in some. Lots of golds. Yeah, it's got that courtly fairy tale, King Arthur type thing going on, doesn't it? The cups are quite pretty. And you have your key colors appearing on the cards as well as you go through. So it helps, you know, lend itself to picking the suits. And when you're doing a spread, that sort of stands out a little bit. These little gemstones here. Love, love, love that Six of Swords. It reminds me of, I guess, some of the movies of Avalon. So it takes you again in a mythological, dreamy fairy tale way to another place. Rich colors and the tapestries and the clothing again. Some of the image, though, could stand a little bit more clarity. It seems to be out of focus a bit on the faces. So some of that work could have been just a little bit better for my liking. But that is the Gilded Tarot. This next one is the Somnia Tarot that I purchased from Nicholas Bruno, the creator. Great little box that comes in. And when I got it, I found it very, very unique in that you don't see a lot of the faces. Those are the backs. You know, some of these images are almost haunting. He is quite a photographer, although he did illustrate this deck as well. But I think I prefer this one. Hang tight, I'll get a few more cards. Now the booklet that comes with it is very thin. So it would help with this one if you knew a little bit about tarot and tarot cards. These are the coins we're seeing now. But you know, different takes is what I'm looking for sometimes in a deck. Not your typical imagery, although it does follow RWS. I just love some of these things that he's created in the background. This one is quite haunting too, the Three of Wands. This one is a little bit odd too, but her hair again covers the face because this is meant to be like stepping into his dreams. And you know, dreams can take us to so many different crazy, bizarre situations. And then we try to analyze them. Nine of Cups. So yes, I do love his photography and the different takes on things. This one is spectacular. Talk about juggling. There's another sort of haunting image there. And that is my beautiful Somnia Tarot. What's not to love? Now this one from Inside Editions, again, if you've watched the movies, this is a really nice deck. I wasn't thrilled the first time I opened it because I had forgot some of the things involved with the movie, but they spent a lot of time creating this box and gave it some oomph. It does have its little booklet, a little bit more substantial than some, and it's colored inside. So let's take a look at the cards. There's their backs with the dark and light wings. So we've got, again, another sequence here. So this is the humans. I believe that's the earth element, the air, the fire. Hope I've got that right. I haven't played with this one that much. And the water. Super death card. Loving that. So again, colorful. So that fits one of my niches. I like the strong edginess to it. That animated quality. There's nothing weak about these images. And it was a really fun show to watch. So that is my good omens. And last but not least, the Voyager Tarot. Now, my book in here is decided to fall apart, but I got this in a thrift store for 99 cents. And it has some of that digital type, I guess, collage imagery. So that's our Emperor. Four of Worlds. Again, some of the things have been changed here. Crystals for logic, wands for aspiration, and the cups. Now this one, like this card in particular, is fine. I find it's a nice card to sit and dwell on, unlike some of them that are just a little bit piecey and, you know, hard to settle into. The backs are quite spectacular. Reminds me of those crystal spiral things that you used to have as a kid. So, cups. So you have to dig around to find and count all the images if you're trying to follow an RWS. This is a tricky one. I really like the crystals in this deck. So that is our Hanged Man. So some of the images, as I say, I don't quite jive with, but it has a strength to it. And these fingers are almost like people standing there. I can spend some time with this, and I think of the Ace of Wands and that creative energy and that passion. And it's just running through his blood. So if you've got this deck, this is one I'd like to talk to other people about to see if they've had some, you know, good readings with it. Some of these colored and digital ones, they sort of sit there on my shelf because I like to dive a little deeper and sit with the cards. And this is one deck that so far hasn't really talked to me. But still, I can appreciate the work that went into it. And it's there for me if I ever decide and get the courage, like the lion, to dive back in and connect. So that is the last one, and that is the Voyager Tarot. So these have been fun to bring to the table, exploring that masculine energy, because I had been doing that lately with the Thoth. But totally different system here and enjoyable. So everybody enjoy your decks, bring them out. And if you want to try and do a VR, this would be wonderful, I think, to show me your 10. Don't they look nice spaced out there? Show me your 10 top masculine energy decks. I'd love to see them.